Have you ever wondered why someone would willingly wait 2 years just to buy a watch? Not a house, not a rare painting, a watch. Walk into a Rolex boutique today and say, "I'd like to buy a Rolex." You might expect the salesperson to show you a display case full of watches. Instead, you'll probably hear something surprising. "I'm sorry, we don't have that model available." Maybe next month, maybe next year, maybe never. Now here's the strange part. Rolex is one of the richest watch companies in the world. It sells over 1 million watches every year. It has the factories, the engineers, the money. It could easily produce far more watches than it does. So why doesn't it? Why would any company intentionally refuse customers who are ready to pay thousands of dollars? Because Rolex isn't in the business of selling watches. It's in the business of protecting desire. And that's the secret behind one of the greatest luxury brands ever created. The story begins in London in 1905. A 24-year-old entrepreneur named Hans Wilsdorf had a simple vision. At a time when pocket watches dominated the market, he believed wristwatches would become the future. Most people laughed. They thought wristwatches were too small, too fragile, and too inaccurate. Hans disagreed. He obsessed over precision, quality, and reliability. In 1908, he registered a new name, Rolex. Short, easy to pronounce, easy to remember, a name that sounded the same in almost every language. Over the next few decades, Rolex introduced innovations that changed the watch industry forever. The first waterproof wristwatch, the Oyster, the perpetual self-winding movement, precision that earned international certifications. Rolex wasn't just making watches, it was building trust. But then, it discovered something even more valuable than quality: scarcity. Scarcity is one of the oldest tricks in business, but Rolex perfected it. Most companies try to sell to everyone. Rolex does the exact opposite. Imagine you walk into a Rolex boutique with $15,000 ready to spend. You ask for a Submariner. The salesperson smiles and says, "I'm sorry, there's a waiting list." Months, sometimes years. To an ordinary business, that sounds crazy. A customer is standing there with money, and you're refusing to sell. But that's exactly why Rolex remains desirable. You always want what you can't easily have. It's basic human psychology. The harder something is to obtain, the more valuable it feels. Rolex understands this better than almost any company on earth. Could they make more watches? Absolutely. But producing twice as many watches would solve one problem, while creating a much bigger one. Exclusivity would disappear, and luxury without exclusivity is just another product. That's why Rolex carefully controls supply. Not because it can't produce more, but because it chooses not to. Every watch that stays unavailable makes every existing Rolex even more desirable. And something unexpected happened. People stopped buying Rolex watches to tell time. They started buying them as status symbols, as investments, as achievements. Today, some Rolex models sell for more in the resale market than they cost brand new. Think about that. Most luxury products lose value the moment you buy them. Cars depreciate, phones become outdated, designer clothes go out of fashion. But certain Rolex watches actually become more valuable. That's incredibly rare. And it created a completely different kind of customer. People who never intended to wear the watch, only own it or sell it later. Rolex had quietly transformed itself from a watch company into one of the strongest luxury brands in history. But scarcity alone doesn't build an empire. Many companies create limited editions. Almost all of them fail. Rolex succeeded because it combined scarcity with something even more powerful: trust. Trust is something money can't buy. It has to be earned. And Rolex spent more than a century earning it. Every Rolex is tested for precision. Every movement is assembled with extraordinary attention to detail. Every watch is built to last for decades. That's why people don't just buy a Rolex. They pass it down from fathers to sons, from one generation to the next. It becomes more than a watch. It becomes a family legacy. Rolex also understood another secret. Luxury isn't about showing off. It's about signaling success without saying a word. When athletes lift championship trophies, you'll often see a Rolex. When explorers reach the highest mountains, Rolex is there. When world leaders, entrepreneurs, and celebrities celebrate milestones, Rolex is often on their wrist. Not because Rolex pays everyone to wear one, but because over decades the brand became associated with achievement. Rolex never tells you, "You'll become successful," If you buy this watch, instead, it quietly suggests something more powerful. Successful people choose Rolex. That small difference changed everything. People stopped buying the product. They started buying the story, the identity, the feeling. And that's the biggest lesson every business can learn. People rarely buy products. They buy what those products say about them. Rolex doesn't sell steel, gold, or sapphire crystal. It sells status, achievement, respect, and belonging. That's why Rolex never tries to sell to everyone, because the moment everyone can have something, it stops feeling exclusive. And exclusivity is the foundation of luxury. The next time someone asks why Rolex keeps waiting lists, remember this. They're not trying to sell every watch they make. They're trying to make every watch worth waiting for. That's the difference between an ordinary business and an empire. I'm behind the empire. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe. Because next time, we'll uncover another billion-dollar brand, another hidden business strategy, and another empire built on psychology instead of products.